Hello all and welcome, and I'm the MGTOW Philosopher. And in this video, I would like to talk about a very troubling story that I've just read in the media. And of course, it's about the left, about feminists, and how feminism has so destroyed the world and so destroyed men that it has pushed some men to want to become women, because being a man has become so difficult for especially young men growing up nowadays. And it is so disenfranchised a position to be in, and it's so demonized and vilified that some young boys, many more than used to be, the number of transgenders has shot up because of feminism. So many young men are now wanting to become women because it's just so horrible, seen as such a horrible thing now to be a man. UK's youngest transgender to undergo gender reassignment surgery for the third time. Good God. Now, first of all, besides the obvious that this boy makes a very ugly girl, isn't this just fucking sad? I mean, there's a reason that the transgender suicide rate is like 40%. And the majority of those after they've had this surgery. I mean, this is a 18-year-old kid, by the way, who I predict will kill themselves in about 10 years. Once they look down and see no cock and realize, hey, I like pussy. It's just so sad. Look at his face. He's so sad. Feminism has destroyed this boy and made him into a shell of what he could have been. All because he's a man and because Britain is even more feminized than America, if that's possible. And the hatred for men there is so horrible. And if you're not already an older guy who has a strong character, strong, well-developed personality and sense of self, then feminism will destroy you and possibly turn you into this, a boy that wants to become a girl because it's so demonized to be a boy. Let's see what the story has to say. The UK's youngest transgender individual, a mentally ill person, is undergoing surgery to switch their gender for the third time. So apparently gender reassignment surgery takes multiple visits to the doctor. According to the Mirror, Rhea Cooper, Rhea, was born a boy and transitioned to a woman at 15. Jesus Christ. So this is the parents' fault, too. These so-called progressive parents who want to virtue signal and seem like they're so progressive and so tolerant, then transitioned back to boy at 18. Don't ask us how. Wait, what? What? So wait a second. This is a boy, transitioned to a woman at 15, then transitioned back to a boy at 18, and now is transitioning back to a girl. Doesn't this send up any red flags to people that this is a confused young person suffering from a mental disorder and not somebody you should be enabling by performing permanent surgery by cutting off their dick? Rhea was born as Brad. He has had thousands of dollars worth of hormones paid for by the government. By the government! Well, no wonder the UK is going broke. Absurdity that the government would support this stuff. Can anybody say women voters, with the majority of voters, of course? Rhea also got a 34 double E boob job at the age of 18. From age 15 to age 18, Rhea took hormones to become a girl on the government's dime, but at 18, after prolific use of drugs and alcohol and numerous suicide attempts, Rhea decided, what did I just say? 40% of these wackos decide to kill themselves at some point. And Jesus Christ, Rhea decided it would be better to be Brad again. Yeah, it would be better. You need to get mental help. First of all, you need to get mental help and become okay with being a man, okay? You need to deal with the self-hatred you have going on inside you, okay? So Brad transitioned back to being a man. Another reason Rhea decided to do this was because she was exposed in a documentary for being a literal whore. That's right, Rhea decided since men only want her for sex, that she'd begin charging them for it. This is a very, very disturbed, lost individual. However, according to Rhea, Brad can't seem to make up their mind who and what they are. They still didn't feel that they could live life as a gay man, and they decided to transition yet again. These are the exact type of people who we should put in the military, said no one ever. Rhea Cooper's disgusting antics and forward sexual advances can be seen in this 47-minute documentary titled Diary of a Teenage Transsexual. No thanks, I'm going to pass. Rhea talks about how hard it was growing up on hormones she chose to be on. Speaking to the mirror, Rhea said, on the surface, I was hard as nails, but underneath it hurt like hell. The puberty... This boy's parents should be arrested for child abuse. You should not be putting kids on any type of drugs of any kind, any hormones, puberty blockers. It's cruel and unusual punishment because when this person grows up and decides that it was just a phase, which 80-90% of them do, they can't get a hard-on. They can't have kids. They're totally sterile. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for wanting to be progressive hippies. You essentially made me into a eunuch and a pussy. The puberty blockers and hormones made me moody and angry. Yeah, they're fucking with your biology. You shouldn't be taking them. I was all over the place, as evidenced by the fact that you couldn't decide, make up your mind about what you should be, man or woman. You're transitioning back and forth. My mom supported me. Of course she did. Of course she did. She wanted the virtue signal. But I moved out and went wild, drinking and taking drugs to cope with being different. I made so many mistakes. Encouraged by your parents who enabled you in this wackiness instead of getting you the mental help you needed. But they're probably the ones that turned you into this by being feminist and progressive themselves and hating men. Even your daddy is probably a man-hater. Notice the father's not being mentioned here. I wonder if the father's in the picture. I was so ashamed, she says. I fell in love with a guy from the army and he even introduced me to his family. We didn't talk about my past, but they knew who I was and accepted it. Then his friends found out and that was it. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. It was the same pattern every time I met someone, so I decided if the only use men had for me was sex, then I'd charge them. Rhea says that that's why she decided to change back to being a man. I don't know why the word they is there, even if for just a few months. But you've had all these puberty blockers. Can you even get a hard-on? And you can't have kids. Jesus Christ, your body must be all fucked up because you didn't develop correctly. Every time I met someone, they'd say, you're the girl from that documentary. I couldn't get away with it. Why'd you make the documentary to begin with? And why did your parents let you make it? Good God. Your parents are supposed to be older than you, have better judgment than that. It all became too much. I decided it could all go away if I became male again, but her brief spell as a boy lasted just a few months. Yeah, you know why? Because you took all these puberty blockers when you were younger, so you can't actually be a man. Rhea thought that going back, to being a boy would take away all the issues brought on by being a tranny. No, because you're mentally ill. Stopping taking the hormones doesn't change the fact that you're mentally ill. It just felt wrong. She says, you're not a man. You've eunuched yourself. Of course it doesn't feel right, you idiot. I came to the realization pretty quickly I was doing it because I wanted all the problems associated with being transgender to go away, which means you should go to see a shrink. I was no longer able to hide who I really am, not from family or friends or potential boyfriends. I had to be true to myself. A self, by the way, which was enabled, created, and constructed by your parents who irresponsibly let you indulge in this retarded fantasy from a very young age, and that fantasy became your reality, when in truth, you're just mentally ill and you're suffering from a mental illness. Hope that the UK has plenty of money, because next Rhea wants to figure out how to have a baby. Huh? What? You can't have a child of your own. See, this is what I'm talking about. This person is mentally ill. She thinks she can have a baby. She wants to figure out how to have babies and hide from the fact that you're really a man. But you fucked your body up, and now you can't be a man. You're in this nether region in between man and woman, but you can't be either. You idiot. Of course, the real idiot are your parents who did these things to you when you were younger, instead of saying, we have a child that thinks is a boy but thinks that he's a girl. We need to just essentially not do anything that's going to fuck up this person's biology until they're old enough to make decisions for themselves. We're not going to give them drugs to essentially stop them from going through puberty so they're a eunuch their whole life. Yeah, that's a real good idea, Mom and Dad. I'd love a child of my own, she says. I'd love to have a baby to cuddle. Oh, gee, it's too bad that you killed all your sperm and that you're sterile and can't have kids, you moron. But the real moron is her parents, who knew the consequences and did it anyway. Because there's fucking dumb sheep that let the society, the loudest voices, the craziest fuckers in society. I'm a crazy fucking feminist, and I'm telling you, you should give your child puberty blockers. motherfuckers. And you mistook that crazy loud minority for the majority, and being the sheep that you are, you said, yeah, I'm just going to ruin my son's life, and I'll never have grandkids. But what the fuck? I can be progressive and virtue signal and use my child as some kind of a tool to become more virtuous. Meanwhile, I've destroyed my child. You dumb fucking cunt. I still haven't heard any mention of the father. Where is the father? I'd love to have a baby to cuddle and love and look after as they grow up. Too bad you made yourself into a eunuch. It's not going to happen overnight, I know. But I can dream it, can't I? No, you can't. If you're sterile, your sperm is no good. What are you talking about? The Mirror made this short but cancerous video about Rhea. Perfect for those too scared to watch the documentary. Yeah, okay. But it's crazy stuff.
18-year-old Rhea Cooper loves boys, booze, and Britney Spears.
Yeah.
But unlike most other girls her age, Rhea was actually born as a boy called Bradley.
Until Mommy and Daddy decided to give Bradley puberty blockers. I guess because Mommy wanted a girl and there was no Daddy. Or the Daddy's some kind of simp, pussy, mangina wimp that just does whatever his wife wants, even though his logic and reason must have been telling him, this is a bad idea. That's a good-looking kid. Look at him. That's a good-looking boy. You could have made a wonderful drag queen. You could have been a cross-dresser. You could have been just a wildly gay guy and getting all the cock you wanted. You didn't have to become a woman. You were just confused by a society that hates men and tells men they're evil and has made so many weak-minded simpletons like yourself want to become women.
She spent the past 5 years living life as a girl on one of the toughest council estates in Britain.
And that is a mistake. Where were her parents? They should not have allowed that. This person would have grown out of it. And if they didn't, there's such a thing as a psychiatrist.
It took a lot of guts to do it and like come out to people and people's reactions to it and stuff like that, so it's quite hard.
Her ambition, to become the youngest person in the UK to have controversial gender reassignment.
Mission? Youngest in UK? Can anybody say hero? Virtue signaling? I want to be special for something?
Surgery on the NHS.
When I am a girl, I'll be a lot happier with myself because I'll now have the same parts of what my friends have.
This is the story of an extraordinary teenager and her struggle to come of age as a woman.
This is not an extraordinary person. This is somebody who is mentally ill and needs psychological help. I'm tired of the media with their liberal bias and their liberal bent, and they're all a bunch of crazy-ass fucking feminists trying to push this cultural Marxist crap. It's total bullshit. This boy, it's a man! It's not a fucking hero.
Against impossible odds.
Freak!
Over 2 years, we filmed Rhea on her quest to find acceptance as a woman. Going wild with the girls. Winning the boys.
I see that gorgeous smile looking at me on a dance.
Oh, God, I can't watch anymore. It's crazy. That's just so crazy. And this is what you get in countries like Britain. It has all this free health care, so you can just indulge in every mental illness possible and call it progressive. I foresee suicide in this boy's future. Within 10 years, this guy's going to be dead. Even if he figures things out, gets psychological help, he can look down at his shrunken cock and the fact that he can't have kids and he can't function normally in any sexual way, and he's going to take, well, no guns in that country, so, he'll fucking put a knife to his wrist or a razor blade to his wrist or poison himself or something, or jump off a fucking roof, or have some Muslims throw him off the roof. But regardless, he'll kill himself. Now, no question about that. It's very sad. And this is the state of affairs of the whole Western world today. People that hate being men, self-haters. And that's what a lot of white knights and cucks are. They haven't gone so far as wanting to become women. They've gone about halfway to where they feel like women and they empathize with women and they champion for women. And they deep down, they feel things so deeply. They feel more like women in some ways than men. And they just want to champion and fight for women's rights. And they forget that they're men. And they should be fighting for men's rights, you idiots. And those are the guys, and it's people like this guy who are making things bad for the rest of us who are actual men and care about other men and care about men's rights and care about the survival of the human race, for God's sake. And it's not going to survive with simpletons like this ugly creature championing it. No, we don't want that in the military. No fucking way. And we don't want that as the future of mankind. Oh my God. I am the MGTOW Philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.